Okay, so hello, dear friends and everyone. Welcome to our Sangha meeting, our group gathering. We are meeting together on August 9th at 9 a.m. here in Hanoi, Vietnam, and naturally it is different times in different places, and right there is a kind of Dharma teaching because we have one view, we have one perspective, but there's nothing ultimate about that. If it relates to someone at some place at some time, if it relates to our preferences or our desires, then you can be sure that view is not the ultimate view, not a matter of the ultimate. Uh, Currently, I am with my master in Hanoi, Vietnam, as a part of a 3-month rains retreat, the Vasa or the Waso retreat period. And we are the guest of the Vietnamese government to have this 3-month retreat here for the Theravada Sangha, which is a first of its kind to happen here in Vietnam. So it's a really, really precious situation. And we just got back from a 1-day sightseeing trip where we went to a sacred mountain here in Vietnam, and we also visit some meditation master and some senior monk in the Vietnamese Sangha. So we visit some big pagoda, big temple, and have a lot of quite rich experiences to meet some other monks from their respective traditions and some Dharma exchange and mutual support, showing each other our support. This meeting and all of the work that I'm doing online and the purpose and intention of our Sangha is to concern ourselves with doing good deeds with mindfulness and detachment. We can say, doing good deeds with mindfulness and detachment. We can say that mindfulness is very much connected and linked to this term, this word meditation, so that meditation is very important in what we are doing here. But we shouldn't lean too much on a created meditation or a contrived meditation. This is really limited. And not just in terms of the effect or the power of it or how often we can do it, but it also takes this really amazing, precious jewel, this essence relationship that we can have in our life and build our life around, and makes it into something that is consumable, or something that is like an exercise or a practice. And we should be really careful not to cheat ourselves out of what the Buddha was talking about, which is complete enlightenment, the complete ending of suffering. So naturally, that's not about someone doing something in particular at some particular place at some particular time. And that's kind of what we're waking up from. That's what we are going beyond in our meditation practice. My master Sayadaw Otamasara, who's leading this retreat and leading our group here in Hanoi, he talked about this a little bit in terms of an analogy of the power of fans or the power of air conditioning. Depending on where you live, this might be more or less relevant or more or less kind of seeming to be important. But here in Southeast Asia or in the countries where Buddhism is most prevalent, some of them, it's hot. It's hot every day. It's hot all the time. It's usual to be hot. And that means that it's a sweat. And, how do you deal with that, right? How do you manage that sweat? How do you deal with that adversity? I know many of our community members here are from the West. So that means that we are used to full-time air conditioning, right? Full-time regulated temperature that keeps us not to be sweating. The only time we sweat is when we go out, do some exercise, or make a conscious choice to do something where we sweat, and then we come back into the AC. So, Sayadaw, talking about this power of air conditioning or power of the fan, there is a power to it. We can regulate our temperature. We can reduce our sweating or control this. In some sense, we can control this feeling of adversity, this feeling of suffering. We can regulate it. But the power of the fan or the power of the air conditioning is limited. So also the power of a created meditation practice or a contrived meditation practice that is a exercise that is separate from nature is also limited. What that means in terms of the air conditioning or the fan is that it's hot and it's sweat. It's a little bit uncomfortable. And yet we can endure. So we can use the power of our endurance. We can use the power of our awareness itself, the nature itself. We can use the power of ever new impermanent nature. And we don't need to rely on something created to do that. We don't need to rely on a particular person or a particular place or a particular time to do that. So meditation then is a kind of time where we can rely on the uncreated. We can rely on not someone, not some place, not some situation or particular period of time. And this is also, we can say, to develop our no self power, using the power of no self, using the power of no place, using the power of no time. If we are mostly comfortable if we are mostly in an created environment or a created situation, actually it's for the purpose of being comfortable, right? It will be easy to develop a very strong reliance, and all the time reliance on the created truth, which is someone at some place at some time. We can become addicted to our created truth, to this story, this narrative of our life, this grasping onto habit energies, grasping onto effect, ignorant of the cause. And actually, we can't fully understand or we can't fully grasp the reality of cause and effect, isn't it? We can't say, oh, the universe was created like this, or the universe was created like that, or I'm sick because of this or that. If we get very, very scientific, very specific, very aware, we may be able to point to an aspect of cause and effect. But we are not going to understand the vast subtleties of the causal change, causal relationships between matter and space fully, cannot grasp it. So in that case, we are aware of the effect, we are aware of what is going on right now, the fruit of our past actions, okay? The fruit of our past actions. And we can take responsibility for the cause. We can get involved in the cause, get involved in the action. If we look at our life, we may find that many of the actions we have taken have come from a place of desire or fear. So they will lead to effects concerned with desire or fear, desire or aversion. A state of desire is a state of struggle. A state of desire is also a state of stress. The same with fear or aversion. So if we are constantly on this treadmill of acting from desire and acting from aversion, we will be stressed and tired all the time. When we find a comfortable, stable position, a somewhat still position for our body in meditation, we are detaching from the body doing things. We are detaching from the body standing, the body laying down, detaching from the body eating, detaching from the body sleeping. The more that we can detach, the more we can be mindful. This experience is not about someone, but we create someone, or we add someone, we attach to someone. In mindfulness and detachment, there is not someone. In present moment breathing and aware, there is not something in particular. We should try to be mindful of ever new impermanent nature. Be mindful of impermanence. In the arising of the belly, in breathing or the chest, and in the falling or reducing of the belly or the chest in meditation, there is not someone. There is breathing only. There is rising only, falling only. If we are comfortable all the time, we will be attached to being comfortable all the time. If we can be mindful now, we can detach from being comfortable all the time. In being mindful of not someone, we can detach from someone. In not grasping onto something, we can detach from anything in particular. In not staying or being in one place, we can detach from any place. We can abide in the natural awareness of ever new impermanent nature. Just aware, just breathing. When someone in particular becomes important, we can detach from someone and be mindful of our breathing. When something, mental or physical thing, nama, rupa, material or non-material experience becomes important, we can be mindful of our breathing. When some place or some situation becomes important, we can be mindful of our breathing. In this way, we can detach from some place. The more that we can practice mindfulness and detachment, the more that we can detach from mindfulness and detachment. the someone that is most important in your life is not as important as mindfulness and detachment. The places or situations that you are affiliated with and aware of in your life are not as important as mindfulness and detachment. This is the right view and the right understanding for practicing mindfulness and detachment according to the truth. Mindfulness and detachment can be applied to any place, any person, any situation. Does not reject, does not grasp or attempt to control, but rather to use only, to experience only. Not to attach or to grasp or to get more of, not to get less of or push away, but to use only, to experience only. Okay, we will stop meditating at this time, and anyone who has a question or would like to share their experience, they can do it.
I have a two-part question, if I may.
Okay.
The first part is I've often heard you speak about control, and I'm wondering if you're talking about controlling oneself, attempting to control another person or situation. If you could expand on that a bit. And part two of my question is I I hear your emphasis on mindfulness and detachment. And in my mind, I understand that. One of the things that you said is the most important person in your life is not as important as mindfulness and detachment. And so, of course, my mind went to, one of my children. And I guess in theory, I understand the concept of what you're talking about. It's very difficult, when you have children, you literally feel and would put your life on the line for them. So I don't know how to balance that kind of love with the concept of detachment. Thank you.
Doing with attachment or using with attachment is the attempt to control what cannot be controlled. Using only and experiencing only, using without attachment, using with detachment is to use only, to use freely. To detach from our loved ones is to be fully present for our loved ones. It is to become someone that is primarily concerned with the truth, this gives us a great spaciousness in the heart and mind to share with our loved ones. We should not practice with attachment. We should not be living our spiritual life according to our desire or our own understanding. We should be living our spiritual life according to mindfulness and detachment, according to using only, experiencing only. This is not about someone, but is inclusive of everyone and is also inclusive of no one. If we are only doing for our loved ones, then only our loved ones will be doing for us. If we are doing for all, not just human beings, not just living beings, but also non-living beings, then all will do for us. All will support us. If you rely on your own understanding, then you are relying on ignorance and detachment. You are relying on selfishness. You are relying on the wrong view. You are eating out of your own fridge when everyone's fridge is available. We will understand more by practicing more. We will know more by doing more. Also, for myself, I am learning through teaching. At the same time, learning and teaching. So anyone here should also be learning through practicing, through doing more. If you want to know more, you should do more. If you want to learn more, you should teach more. If you want to have more, then you should give more. The true nature of our loved one is not someone. So if we are attached to someone, we are also rejecting someone, and that is the true someone of not someone. If we are attached to the appearance of our loved one, we are also rejecting their true self, their true nature. Do not reject, do not attach. Try to be mindful as much as you can. Try to meditate more and more. Because we have a very strong ego, the Western people, we have maybe one of the stronger egos, and we have many supporting condition for that ego, for that self story, that self experience. We have all the movies and TV shows, and for a long time we've been consuming it. So our self power is very, very strong. And when we start to meditate more, or when we start to practice mindfulness and detachment more, when we start to concern ourselves with doing good deeds more, there is a lot of fear that goes along with it. But this fear is actually the pathway to our freedom. This fear is at beginning, very faint, very subtle, very quiet drums of our liberation, drums of freedom. If we can practice more, if we can do more, not just by ourselves or for ourselves, but as it's concerned with the Buddha, the Dhamma, and the Sangha, we will be safe to be fearless as it is concerned with our fear. If we are doing alone, if we are doing for ourselves, if we are doing for some result, then Even if you are successful, you are still trapped in someone, some experience, some place, some situation. But if we are doing for all, not just for ourselves, not just about me, not just about you, and if we are concerning ourselves with the Buddha Sasana, the Buddha, the Dhamma, and the Sangha, we will be safe to use this body and mind for all, not just for ourselves. And that is naturally inclusive of our loved ones, but it is especially inclusive of the true nature of our loved ones, which is more important than our attachment about them. For our loved ones, we should be in relationship with them according to our own mindfulness and detachment and our own generosity, not according to our expectation or our fear or our desire, but according to our generosity, our mindfulness and detachment, to share with them and also to help them to practice like that. Okay?
Yes, that resonates, much of it, very much. Thank you.
Any other question or sharing experience? The answer to the situation we find ourselves in, not only for ourselves, but also for the others, is to practice mindfulness and detachment and to do all kinds of good deeds as much as we can. And then to do more than we can. Slowly, we developing this capacity to do more than we can, more than the self power can. This will help us have more faith in the practice so that we can stay with it consistently and live our life according to the practice rather than the practice being according to our life. This life is not reliable. This body and mind are not reliable. This situation, this environment is not reliable. Mindfulness and detachment is reliable. When we have certain cases or certain situations come up, if we are concerned with or involved with the Buddha, the Dhamma, and the Sangha, we can be supported and protected and nourished according to our practice rather than according to our life. For each one of us, this will take a different form, but it tends to be related to your karma or your situation, right? We, for myself, I like to speak strongly about this because if you are comfortable or healthy and wealthy to some degree in your life, then that's you can manage for yourself. You can do as freely as you can do. You don't need to listen to someone like me, right? And enjoy, do what you want to do. But for those people who have a lot of suffering or a serious situation, right? I want people to know, you don't need to work at Walgreens and live in this apartment by yourself and kind of just be lost in this created truth, this attachment life that you've been living, and just stay in that until you end your own life, right? Until you hurt your body or your mind intentionally. It's not necessary to live like that. We have a community that is concerned with mindfulness and detachment. We have a community that is concerned with the Buddhist teachings or the wisdom teachings. Doesn't need to be the Buddhist teachings, wisdom teachings. And if you want to change your life according to the truth, then you should concern yourself with the community of the truth, which is what the Buddhist Sangha is about. Not necessarily going to be exactly like that, and we have to keep in mind this body and mind is not reliable. Also, the bodies and minds of others are not reliable. But we can be supported for our basic needs through the practice of mindfulness and detachment, through the practice of doing good deeds more and more. And we can also support the others in this way by making merit, not by making money, by dissolving contracts and transactions and offering out virtue and meditation. I have experienced this for myself, to be isolated, sick in the heart and mind, and also socially, psychologically and emotionally, alone and isolated and really sick, really, really, really sick, terminal, not just, things aren't going well, but terminal condition with mental health. And by detaching from where I lived and detaching from what I knew and the people that I knew and the society that I knew, I could learn about the truth for myself, and I could heal the mind for myself. And also I have become skillful to help the minds of the others as well. And other people can also do like this. Now I am ready to support others as well. through my support and through my experience. So these meetings and this community is always at the heart, an invitation and a continuation of the concerns of the Buddha, the Dhamma, and the Sangha, which is the opportunity for people to come and donate, the opportunity for people to come and do good deeds, the opportunity for people to come and take refuge. Take refuge in the Buddha, take refuge in the Dhamma, take refuge in the Sangha. Not in a limited way, but in an unlimited way. We become skillful in teaching by teaching. Now, not everyone has the conditions to teach. To teach, you need some student or someone who can listen to you, want to try with you, you know. But for the more subtle and more important practices, such as mindfulness, such as detachment, such as generosity, you become skillful in knowing about detachment, understanding detachment, practicing detachment by practicing detachment. You become skillful and to know about generosity or mindfulness or following precept by following precept. And in terms of the dealing with the self or the ego that wants to be the skillful one, wants to be the professional one, the moment that you do it, you're it. You want to be a jogger, or you want to be a runner, or you want to be a meditator. The moment you go and walk, you're doing it. You're it. So concern yourself with to try, not to understand, not to be skillful, not to be comfortable, but to detach from being comfortable, to be uncomfortable, dare to be uncomfortable. This also goes with the speaking, right? Dare to speak, dare to share, right? Dare to open up. That's when you can get the special benefit, not just for yourself. I think we tend to be shy about speaking or sharing because we are mainly concerned for ourselves. But we speak for the others also. We speak for those who cannot speak. We speak for all, not just for ourselves. And in that way, we don't need to be so self-conscious about our speaking, because it's not just for ourselves. This body and mind are an aspect of it, may have some related to it, but it's not just about ourselves. We are sharing, offering out for all and also from all, because we recognize that I'm not what I did, my failure, my success, the people that I have helped, and the people that I have hurt is not about me in particular. Not about someone in particular. It couldn't be. The child does not, the seed does not become the tree on its own. And in fact, the tree is not the tree on its own. We don't need to take a vacation with our savings. We need to concern ourselves with the Buddha, the Dhamma, and the Sangha with our savings. We do not need to find a place for attachment and pleasure, for meeting our desire and avoiding our fear with our savings. We need to go to a place where our desire and fear are not much important. Where our self is not much important. Where we can volunteer and where we can follow and where we can detach from our own desire and fear. In this way, we can heal from addiction by helping those with addiction. We can heal from mental illness by helping those with mental illness. We can heal from the physical illness by helping those with physical illness. Our skills and our power and our loveliness and our freshness and our good qualities and our positive qualities should be used for these matters. And I know for myself that even those people who are in the darkest situation, darkest towards themselves, darkest towards the others, even the criminal or the addicted person or the mentally ill person or the physically ill person has so much to offer. Don't waste this body and mind for yourself. Use it for all, as much as you can. And if you need help, you let me know. Okay, you let our Sangha know so that we can all grow. Let's finish with the. Oh, go ahead, Hoshi.
It's just on. I'm very tired and I don't have a lot of words, but I wanted to thank you and the Sangha for helping me to. I'm a very reclusive person, and you've been helping me get over that. And I today applied to. It scares me a bit, but a 10-day silent Vipassana retreat in the north of Canada. I never would have done that without the watering that you guys provided me. So thank you. And thank you, Bhante.
Okay. Thank you, brother. We'll look forward to having you back after and sharing your experience with us, okay?
It won't be till early December, but yeah, thank you.
Yeah. In some sense, each and every breath, each and every second, each and every moment of our normal life is a 10-day Vipassana retreat, right there. And when you go to that 10-day Vipassana retreat, if you do make it there, remember that the other side is also true. That entire 10-day Vipassana retreat is just this moment, this normal, ordinary life. It's not something to get too serious about or intense about. It's just like this, just natural. If we can't drive, we can walk. If we can't walk, we can sit. If we can't sit, we lay down. Okay, let's finish with the sharing the merit, all right? Everyone can, maybe we try today by unmuting our microphones. And this is the call and response, so I think it should be okay if we unmute our microphones. Okay, repeat after me. May all the merits that we have done till now
May all the merits that we
May
have done
all
till
the
We
now
have
merits
done
we have done till now
be dedicated and shared out
be
be
dedicated
dedicated
and
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 shared out
shared out
toward all sentient beings.
toward all sentient beings.
with all sentient beings.
May all the merits that we have done till now
May all the merits
we have
that
done
we have
till now
done till now
be dedicated and shared out
be
be
dedicated
dedicated and
and
shared out
shared out
toward all sentient beings.
toward all
toward all
sentient beings.
beings.
May all the merits that we have done till now
May
May
all the
all the
merits that
merits
we have
that we
done
have
till
done
now
till now
be dedicated and shared out
be
be dedicated
dedicated and
and
shared out
toward all sentient beings.
toward
toward
all
all
sentient
sentient
beings.
beings.
May all sentient beings
May
May
all
all sentient
sentient beings
rejoice and share in our merits.
rejoice and
beings
share
and
in our
share
merit.
May all sentient beings
May
May
all
all
sentient
sentient
beings
beings
rejoice and share in our merits.
rejoice
share
and share in our merits.
May all sentient beings
May
May
all
all
sentient beings
rejoice and share in our merits.
rejoice and share in our
share
merit.
Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. And we can all make a bow. Okay, thank you so much, beloved Sangha. Don't be too serious and be mindful and don't get stuck. Just keep giving away, offering out, sharing out, more and more mindful, more and more sharing out.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you.
Namo Ayira Phang, Namo Ayira Phang.